Hey everybody, it's Kobe here from Flixwatcher podcast on a super special episode. Unfortunately, it's just me this week. You're just going to hear mostly my dulcet tones talking over the show. Well, I say just mine, but we're going to be talking to a lot of directors and also a guest reviewer in the shape and the form of Alex Tynan. This is a special episode that was recorded over the Sundance London Film Festival in 2017, which, if you listen to it straight away, happened right about now, and we recorded at the fantastic Picture House Central, which is in London's West End. So lots of really good films, documentaries and narrative, lots of really good films out there, lots of independent films out there which are really, really powerful and really, really interesting, really, really funny and really, really engaging. So really hope you enjoy the show. This episode is a mix of talking with Alice about the films that we saw. She was a fellow film reviewer and we saw most of the films together, and interspersed with the directors of the films that we talked about, and it was really cool to speak to them about how they made the films and the processes they went through and what they hope to achieve from things like Sundance London and the film coming out completely. From a Netflix point of view, there's 3 films that we talk about that come out directly onto Netflix in the near future, if they're not already, and they are The Incredible Jessica James, Icarus, a documentary about doping, and Chasing Coral, which is a heartbreaking documentary about how the coral is kind of dying. But we talk about this a bit more, but just wanted to say, if you're looking to find stuff on Netflix, these are the films you can find directly. The other films will be coming out on different platforms later on in the year, so please do check them out because they're all worth viewing. And we'll see you on the other side, guys. Speak to you later. Bye.
Thanks to the Popcorn Shed for providing us with the delicious popcorn that we've been enjoying in this episode. They've got loads and loads and loads of delicious flavours. So if you're a popcorn fan, we highly recommend it. Winners of the Great Taste Award in 2016 as well.
Well, even if you're not popcorn fan, maybe you just haven't tasted the right popcorn yet, and Popcorn Shed are the people you should try. If you want to find them out, they're all over social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Just type in Popcorn Shed and find them online, popcornshed.com. What's this flavour, Helen?
This is salted caramel.
Tasty. Oh, they're great. Hey everybody, it's Kobe here from Flixwatcher podcast, here with Alice Tynan. Hi Alice.
Hey Kobe, how's it going?
Not bad, and yourself?
Good. We're in festival mode. I couldn't be happier.
That's fantastic, isn't it? We've been here at the Sundance London Film Festival for the past few days.
Indeed.
And seeing a smorgasbord of really cool films.
We have. We were film critic buddies. We went back to back 5 films in a day? 5, 6?
It's kind of crazy actually, isn't it?
It's awesome.
And the fallen soldier is Simon Renshaw, who's not with us. Hi Simon, if you're listening. But I thought it'd be really cool because we've both been talking to filmmakers and performers in the films over the past couple of days.
Absolutely.
So I thought it'd be really good to do a rundown of the films that we've seen together as a kind of a roundup, and there's going to be interspliced with the people I've had a chat with, and I'll try and direct people towards where they can find the kind of stuff you've been doing.
Sounds good.
Does that sound
Let's
good?
do it.
All right, we're going to do this in alphabetical order, so there's no kind of preference. Alphabetical order as determined by the Sundance London brochure.
Film Festival Guide.
Yeah.
And the alphabet.
And
Surely the alphabet determines the alphabetical order.
That's been out longer. True. Okay, so first on the list, as the alphabet decrees, is Beatriz at Dinner. Salma Hayek film with John Lithgow, written by Mike White and directed by Miguel Arteta.
Yes, what did you think?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a really good conflict piece in a similar kind of way to, I guess, Whiplash, where there's a face-off, but it's non-physical.
Yes.
Between Salma's character and John Lithgow's character.
Yeah, to me it was a real chamber piece, right? So you get people from different walks of life, you put them together in a room, and just it's a crucible. And it's like, as this crucible heats up, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And so for me, it really comes down to like the writing and the pacing, because you've got, on Salma's character she's just a believer. She's just a true heart. She's
super empathetic to everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She is an empath.
Yeah.
And then John Lithgow is this egotistical arrogant dickhead. Can I swear?
Oh, you can do. You can do.
great.
There's the explicit E's next to all our podcast episodes.
There you go. He's that guy.
Yeah.
And the two of them kind of lock horns, and it just, the way that it's realized is so sharply observed that you're sitting there going, oh, wow. You just watch it, like your heart just starts beating, more and more and more, and it builds and builds and builds. And to me, to be able to do that with the supporting characters, like I thought Chloe Sevigny was great. Jay Duplass is fantastic as well. Everyone is just, just building their performances and building their drunkenness, because obviously this whole meal is happening at dinner.
It takes around time. Yeah.
Lots of wine.
An elite. Well, so Salma's character, she's the unwitting guest at an elite dinner party.
Yes,
and
where they're celebrating a deal.
Yeah, a big deal that's good for the haves, but is terrible for the have-nots.
There
and
you go.
Beatrice is not happy about the have-nots position in the side of things, and sees John Lithgow's character as the figurehead of what's going wrong, and really lashes out with I think fairly in some cases, in a lot of the times, but sometimes it's super cringy and perfectly pitched in the.
That's it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's how do you bring the audience on the journey with you, and how do you build that tension in a way that feels authentic, and how do you get insights about these characters? So there's a great early scene where Chloe Sevigny and Jay Duplass come in, and Beatrice observes them, basically saying like, oh, this deal's made us, we're going to be so freaking rich now.
Yeah.
And in that one moment, that one exchange, you know exactly who these people
Absolutely.
are. They're perfectly well dressed. They are, high on life. They're high on their achievements, and you just don't want to be stuck at dinner with them. Right? Like, so we always talk about, what's your dream dinner, dinner party? Like, who would that be? And these are not those people.
They'll be the opposite.
Exactly. These are not those people.
Everyone apart from Beatrice would be the opposite of your perfect dinner party guest.
I would say that Connie Britton was a standout for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
She obviously, Friday Night Lights, she's a favorite, but the way, she's the friend of Beatrice. She's the reason why she's staying to dinner.
Yeah.
And the way that, I don't want to spoil anything, but the arc that her character goes through, I feel like has the most moral weight.
Yeah.
And what she does with is surprising. Let's just say.
I think we agree that everyone should see this film.
I'm a definitely yes. If I'm going to be critical, I'm going to say again, without spoiling, that for me it didn't quite stick the landing.
Yeah.
And I also think in this political climate, it's a really really interesting discussion piece about, as you say, the have and the have-nots. So, but yeah, if I can understand why it ended the way it did, but I'm not sure it stuck it for me. But that said, fully recommend, go see it. Have a glass of wine or two with friends afterwards, and definitely discuss who would be your dream dinner party guest. So see which side you end up on.
Okay.
My name is Miguel Arteta. I'm the director of Beatriz at Dinner. That is the opening night film at Sundance London Film Festival.
As we record, that's tonight.
That is tonight.
Yes. How are you feeling about it?
I'm very excited. My wife is British. She's from Manchester.
Oh, I'm from Manchester.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whereabouts in Manchester is she from?
She was born in Bowden, and then she grew up in Knutsford, and then her parents live in Altrincham.
Okay, absolutely.
And her parents and her brother and sister are coming. So for us, it's a family affair. It's a reunion, and it's a very tough time for Manchester. We're
it's horrible.
Glad to be. It's incredibly sad, and glad to be able to be with them. I'm proud that the Sundance London Film Festival did not cancel, continue to do it, because the movies that they program are thoughtful, funny, honest, and real.
Absolutely.
And I think it's something that will bring thoughtfulness to people, and we're in desperate need.
Yeah, I've been to many events at the arena, so it's quite hard when they're hit. It's crazy.
It's a giant place, right?
It's a giant place. Yeah, there's lots of. I mean, like Madison Square Gardens is a similar kind of idea of what was kind of going on there.
Well, Manchester is like such a beautiful city and such a resilient city. I can't imagine what it must be like right now, but I do have faith in the strength of
Manchester, Mancunians. Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, my wife is a Mancunian, and I definitely know about this strength.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, it's great to know. To the north.
Yes, exactly.
Love to talk about Beatriz at Dinner. First of all, how he came about the story and the cast that you put together. Obviously, the headline cast being Salma, who's been here today, and we also got Chloe Sevigny and John Lithgow. you tell us about the film?
Yes, Beatriz at Dinner is a movie that Mike White, who's someone I collaborated with a few times. We've made several movies together, Chuck and Buck and The Good Girl.
Yeah.
And we did a TV show called Enlighten for HBO with Laura Dern. And he wrote this movie for Salma and talked to me about it 2 years ago, and way before any of the world events that were been happening. But
by that you mean Trump?
Yes, and I think in some ways the movie was a bit prophetic about that. But he just wanted to talk about how divided we are, how the world culture has become so divided in a way that is destroying the world. And he thought, you know what, let's do this in a way that will be funny and then scary and then thoughtful. And a dinner party is such a casual environment. To have a movie that is about the argument for empathy. So, you know, I think he sort of like got close to what you hope as a filmmaker you can do, is to tell a story that is entertaining but thoughtful.
So Beatrice is an unwitting invitee to a dinner party where the haves are, basically.
Yes.
Where the main headline guest of a small party is the CEO of a conglomerate that is seen to be doing a lot of bad to the world and doing everything in favor of serving his own wealth, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Beatrice, you know, Salma plays a sort of holistic healer who does masseuse, and she's been healing. She has helped heal the daughter of this very rich Republican family. She had cancer, and when she was getting over that, she met Beatrice, and then now the family uses her for massages.
Yeah.
So she comes to deliver a massage there before this dinner party, and her car breaks down, and because the woman of the house, you know, feels like she sees herself as such a nice person. She thinks she's friends with Salma's character and invites her to dinner.
Yeah.
And that night they're celebrating a very self-satisfied billionaire, the guy that sort of like, you know, gives them all jobs. He's
played by John Lithgow.
John Lithgow's character, and it becomes what starts as an awkward dinner party becomes a cage fight.
I like the way you said it becomes a cage fight, because there are some very big face-offs in there.
Yes.
In a similar kind of way in how you had like Whiplash, where there was no actual violence in terms of physical violence, but there was a definite face-off between these two characters.
It is. It was fun to see how John Lithgow and Salma Hayek, who have such strength of conviction, their characters. What they believe in fully. She believes in empathy in a way that is so committed that it's almost you could not survive in the world. And he believes in his greed and sense of entitlement in such a way that he actually sleeps well at night, you know, and instead of just enjoying his life.
He's got no problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah, and they almost respect each other because of their strength of conviction. You know, it's almost the other dinner parties become like a chorus because they're more like the rest of us who we don't have that strength of conviction. You know, we like our money or our good life, but we also feel guilty about the damage that's doing to the world. You know, we all live in sort of this other area where we can't have that strength of conviction. And the pleasure of the movie is watching to people that feel so committed to what they believe in that they can really argue about it.
The direct polar opposites, really, of the spectrum.
Yes.
There was some, I don't know how it's kind of built, but it's very comedic moments as part of the comedy.
Yes.
It seemed a lot of the times it was like like What's in the Office, for example, these mockumentaries where it's an awkward situation where at the start John Lithgow mistakes Salma Hayek for the maid, for example, and she confronts him, and you think that she's won him over, but then actually gets very, very, very angry when she sees the safari shooting and things like that, and then doesn't have to dig that deeply into Google to find out what kind of evil person he really is, and that's really, despite herself, she cannot hold back, and she has to attack him with all the anger she has done.
She fights him with a song,
yes,
which is like a funny and a beautiful way to, like, you know, something that conveys pure feeling. If you're gonna have to break the heart of a heartless man, singing them a beautiful song is an interesting thing to do. See how they would react. But I mean, there's humor. I love that Mike writes these characters who believe in the goodness and truth and want to confront the people who don't, but they don't have a sense of what the appropriate way to do it is. and the way that Salma characters just keeps interrupting
Yeah.
and just like keeps veering that everybody wants to have chit chat and keep things light, and she just cannot do that, and like keeps bringing the conversation to things that are going to bum them out, is very funny. And
Well, it's that lack of social airs and graces that makes her entirely endearing in the story in a way as well.
it's what we wish we could do at dinner parties sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. Just call bullshit on the conversation. Can you talk a bit about the song? Was that Salma singing and playing?
That was Salma singing and not playing the guitar, but we kind of pre-recorded it so that she could concentrate on the in the performance and the singing. And she has a beautiful voice.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And so we recorded the song beforehand, and she really, really felt it. And we're very lucky that she has such a beautiful voice, because an important part of the movie is there one time that she reaches this people who are quite cold. She does it with the quality of her voice, and it's one of my favorite moments in the movie, because all the dinner guests, we cut to their reactions. There's no dialogue, but they reveal themselves, without dialogue, just by the way they're listening to her song.
Because we think that's another setup for another awkward moment in the film, in the story,
Yes.
but then it becomes a beautiful piece. And I was very impressed by Salma singing there.
It's amazing how a guitar can be a weapon.
The pen is mighty. Well, the guitar is mightier than the sword in this case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we're talking with Netflix. I love Netflix. And
how is this film going to be distributed?
Roadside Attractions and Film Nation is putting it out.
Yeah.
And it comes out June 9th in America.
Okay.
And I think is coming out to Europe shortly. So.
Well, I mean, I've seen it already, but recommend to everyone to definitely see it.
Thank you.
I'm not going to give any spoilers away.
You heard. Kobe said to see it.
Yeah, I said to see it. Miguel Arteta says Kobe says to see it. So that's great. Thank you very much.
Thanks you.
The Big Sick, which is so this is based on a true story. Kumail Nanjiani and Emily V. Gordon.
Yeah, crazy true story.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually didn't know going into this, and then didn't really think about the title. And then when The Big Sick happens, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because being in the coma for days on end is a big sick.
Is a pretty big sick. So pretty much it told me what was going to happen on the tin, and then I was still surprised. So color me crazy. Yeah, this is it's a Judd Apatow joint produced.
Yeah.
And for me, I thought the best love story there. There's a kind of a triumvirate of love stories.
Yeah, we talked about this straight after the film, didn't we? And I really like the way you talked about it, so I'm glad you
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, let me repeat myself.
Sure.
So for me, yeah, it's the triumvirate between the love story of a boy meets girl, which we know and love, and I'm such a rom-com
an
nerd.
eternal trope, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But what's surprising is that it's also like a love letter to parents. So the other two, couples are her parents and his parents. And to me, that's what was so heartwarming about it.
And it's Kumail playing Kumail, him getting to grips with how his parents and their relationship with his own parents.
Yes.
And getting to grips with the relationship with Emily's parents as well, who he hasn't met up until the Big Sick episode.
Oh my goodness. And getting like Holly Hunter as your
amazing.
Would-be mother-in-law or destined mother-in-law is just the best. And Ray Romano.
Can you believe it? Because I used to watch Everybody Loves Raymond every now and again. And it's one of those films that one of those shows that I kind of thought, yeah, it's quite nice, and I can see why it's big in America. But in this, I really loved Ray Romano's character.
Yeah, really well crafted.
Both of those two together. I think Holly and Ray were fantastic.
Oh, good. They were the standouts, really, for me. And the way that he falls in love with them, kind of reluctantly and in fits and starts, like to me, that was like, that was what was special about this film for me. I also thought, there is a joke. I don't want to ruin it, but it did remind me that the film is akin to Notting Hill in a way of how so. Essentially what happens is Kumail's mum keeps setting him up on blind dates. Yeah. And how there's that scene in Notting Hill where he keeps getting set up, and then there's the one woman who, actually...
That's the one I like,
that's
actually.
The one she would be all right. Yeah. And so it's almost like the road not taken. So yeah, it was akin to Notting Hill to me, but should we talk about what we didn't like about it? Because I still absolutely recommend it. I thought you had a really good thing to say about what you didn't...
The film, I really loved the film, but... when it comes to comedy, which this is, when it has, when it's over an hour and a half for comedy, you have to wonder if is it worth the extra half an hour, and I'm not sure that it fully is. And when we talked about the kind of 3 love stories, I thought they were perfect.
Yes.
But then the guys in the comedy club,
Right.
as much as I love Bo Burnham, it just didn't feel like, I think it's kind of slowed down the story a bit.
I totally agree with you. I think you hit the nail on the head. Where the heart of this film is in those love stories.
Yeah.
And it feels like they added, there's a whole section, he's obviously trying to be a stand-up comic as he is in real life. And there are all these scenes around the comedy club that I feel like, okay, well, Mike Birbiglia has done a film like that. And, you know, there's...
And that's very Judd Apatow of getting people who are funny into a room and letting them do funny things.
That's it. But it detracted and it dragged. And for me, Apatow, I love his films, but I could always shave like 20 to 40 minutes
Straight
from
away,
them.
yeah.
And I think we were in agreement on that.
I think so, yeah.
But that said,
definitely
still,
watch it, because
one to watch.
the amount of love for Kumail and Emily, if you know them outside of the film and in Silicon Valley and their podcasts and things like that, you'll...
And Zoe Kazan,
Zoe Kazan
is my spirit animal, so I'd watch her in anything. Holly Hunter ditto. It's a great cast, really, really charming comedy. Just could have been a bit shorter.
Yeah. Bitch is the next one.
We are allowed to swear on this podcast.
Yeah, we are allowed to swear. It's the name of the film. Bitch. Mariana Palka wrote, directed, and stars in Bitch. It's a story about a lady who's fully aware that her husband's cheating on her and doesn't have a life of her own, and transforms into a feral but domesticated dog that lives in the cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you say about that synopsis?
It's. And I spoke to Marianne about it, and I said, "How do you explain it?" And she said, "Well, this is the story." And I was like, "It's fun. It's great. It's striking. Absolutely striking story. And a striking film, really."
You sat next to me. You understand. I get really into movies, and this one, the soundscape and the opening scenes are so shocking, and the soundscape is so terrifying, and it like almost literally gets under your skin.
Did you speak to the film? You spoke to Mariana, I saw.
I
Did you
did.
speak to Zach? Was it Zach, the composer?
The composer, yeah. And it was really interesting. I was kind of talking to them about when they feel most creative, and Marianne was saying on set, she's like, I could be on set every single day.
Yeah.
And that was, really cool to hear. And she obviously feels very passionately about what she does. And I think to her credit, she cast really well.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Jason Ritter as this, complete, asswipe of a man. Like, he's just the worst. He is, and it's so...
He didn't even know how to start their own car.
He didn't even know. He's so odious.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole thing of like, oh, but I work and you take care of the kids. He doesn't know what they eat. He doesn't know He doesn't know where their schools are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, do better. Anyway, but because it's Jason Ritter, you like him. There's something about, he just plays, it's this tragicomic thing, and he plays it so well. And but for me, and I didn't get the chance to talk to you about this, I'd love to over a cup of coffee, be like, you're a woman, and this film is about a woman's breakdown, and you've written and directed it.
And a man's redemption, really.
And it's about a man.
Yeah.
You made a film about a woman's breakdown about a man. Why? Why couldn't it have been about you? I don't know. I'm genuinely confounded, because I respect her filmmaking. I respect her storytelling. But I'm like, why couldn't this have been more about her? Because she's kind of on the periphery, and it becomes his redemption.
Yeah.
Question mark.
It's a fair comment.
What do you think?
I don't know. I was surprised that I knew that she directed it. Mariana directed it. I was surprised that she wrote it as well, based on that kind of storyline that you said.
Yeah.
So I would have expected something, especially in this day and age where you're striving for more female characters, strong female characters. And I'm super happy that Wonder Woman's getting really strong reviews at the moment, for example.
Absolutely. Amen.
But it's I think it's a really good film to watch, and it's a really thought-provoking film to watch. And
Yeah, maybe the idea is precisely what it triggers in us,
Yeah.
is that, hey, I want to talk about this, and like, what kind of partner are you, and what, do you want to let your partner go to the edge of psychic breakdown and beyond before you help? Like,
Before you help.
you've got to be aware of each other and be real partners. And so I can see that, but there's some like foundational thing of saying you're making an incredibly powerful film about a woman breaking down, and yet the centrifugal force of that film is a man. Anyway, it's still a question mark for me, but I'm happy with that staying a question mark.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Hi guys, it's Kobe here. I was super lucky to get the chance to speak to Mariana Palka, the writer, director, and star of Bitch. And it'd be a good idea, I think, to introduce the chat right about now. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll get back to the chat between myself and Alice very soon. Well, we're here, I guess we should tell people, we're here at the fantastic Pitch House Central in London.
Yes.
Talking about your film, Bitch.
Correct.
Which is showing as part of the Sundance Film Festival London.
Yeah, that's right.
And I would normally try and summarize the film, but yours is kind of crazy in a fair few.
Thanks.
How would you summarize it for people without giving away really what kind of happens?
I say that it's about a family, and it's about a husband who's cheating on his wife, and she doesn't really have a life. They have 4 children, and she's not really being revered, and so she has essentially a situation where she starts acting like a dog, and then everyone goes, "What?" It makes sense, and then people go, "She starts acting like a dog."
Well, this is it, isn't it? Well,
and I go, and then they go, "Oh," and then they like want to see the film because they're like, "I wonder if they could pull that off or not."
I didn't think you were actually going to divulge that big part of the plot point in that summary, but yeah.
I usually don't, but since we're talking about it, I mean, I want to tell you about it. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
So you wrote and directed and feature as the dog, as the main protagonist in a way.
That's in fact true. Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about how you came up with the idea and what kind of led you to it.
Well, I'm certainly not insouciant about making films that are really valuable to the culture. Like when I started out, I was watching Peter Mullen's films. I was watching Ken Loach films.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something that would help society. So I definitely was inspired to do something like that. You know, like I've been very
inspired
schooled.
Conversations.
Yeah, I've been very schooled as a director from other directors to make sure that I'm doing something in the society that's valuable. Like when I made my first film, which is called Good Dick, another swear word title, I was making that because I read a statistic that 1 in 3 women are sexually abused in America before the age of 16.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't believe that. I was only an actress at the time, and I couldn't believe that statistic to the point where I just went home and wrote Good Dick, the script. I was just like, what would happen if a woman had been sexually abused? How would she have a relationship then? You know, how do you come back from that? Sex is so healing. How do you come up from that? The thing that can heal you is intimacy in all aspects. You know what I mean? Like when someone holds your hand, you're like, oh great, now my life is okay because I'm together with this person. But to not be able to even have that because that's been taken from you, to me was like the most fascinating and terrifying idea. And so we made this film about this woman who's been sexually abused, and she goes to this video store and she's renting all these eroticas, and all the guys who work there are like,
who's this?
Who's this chick? What's this lady doing? Why is she not renting movies? Like, why is she not like getting some De Palma right now? Like, why is she just getting like the erotic section? But it was so fascinating to make that film, and again, I wanted to do it for people in the society who have been sexually abused, because it's really important to figure out these dynamics and to give everybody hope. You know what I mean? No one's in this alone. You know what I mean? This is our lives, and we're here together, and we can help each other.
And how was there any kind of similar inspiration towards Bitch?
Totally. It was like the same thought process where it was like people have stuff go on in their families.
Yeah.
People have stuff go on in their interpersonal relationships, like within a marriage, within, you know, the family you grew up in. Like we all have people who either were lost to us, or we have friends who have people who were lost to them. And I find that really profound, how families deal with a loss like that.
And the loss of your character in this film could easily have been simply that she just loses herself in a family and decides to just devote herself to her children.
Yeah.
But the kind of story talks about almost the retribution of Jason
like
Reyes.
after that.
Yeah.
She's kind of devoted herself to the kids for this whole time, for these decades.
Yeah.
I mean, she's already done that part, and then she realizes that no one's really noticed that she's lost
doing all
herself
in
the middle of it. I feel like it's fine to do all the things as long as you're also on the calendar. Do you know what I mean? Like she's only got a calendar for the kids and her husband. She doesn't know what she's doing. So I'm like,
so she's
you
a
need
lost
to
soul.
Remedy that. You know what I mean? And she says in the film to her husband, "Look, I really want to paint. I want to go and paint." And he's like, "No, you can't do that. Are you crazy?"
Yeah, who's going to look after the kids right to the start of the film? Yeah.
Yes. Now, if he'd said, "Go paint," of course, you're an artist. I understand you. I see you. That would have been different. But he didn't say that, and so that's what I think is really important in interpersonal relationships, is not to be so militant, not to be like, I feel this way, so you have to feel this way. It's like, no, however you feel is fine. That's you, and your feelings are separate from me.
And that kind of broke my heart, actually, at the start of the film. When
doesn't it break your heart? It broke my heart to have to act that.
That you had to ask.
I know.
can I go away, and B, him saying no, as if
I
like,
know.
why can't you just take care of the kids? You are half of the parenting team that brought these kids into existence.
Right. Like, why are you
And-
not fulfilled?
Yeah.
In that, which is a fair question,
Yeah.
you know, for him to be like, what is her problem genuinely? I find Bill's character, Jason Ritter's so good in this film, and Jamie King is so good playing my sister. They're fucking, excuse my French. Can I say that?
You can swear on this. That's fine.
Shit. Okay, thanks. I'm from Scotland.
Let's
so it
put
just
some
rolls
more
off the
swear
tongue.
words in there.
It's so nice, so easy on the tongue to swear. But yeah, I just find it like amazing that we've been able to have these amazing actors portray these really dynamic moments in the film, because it is heartbreaking. You know, it breaks your heart in all these ways that human interaction does. You know, and it's very tender. Like we were very gentle with it, and we were very careful with the film. So we made sure that we made something that's actually for people's psyches. It's going to help them. It's not going to be like difficult or hard for them to watch our film. They're going to be able to walk out of the cinema feeling like a better person, which is what my movies are supposed to do.
And
That's what I
definitely
intention.
start discussion. I've been sat the past few days talking to a few of the other critics, other viewers, and I think Bitch has been the one that's like, wow. Well, there's another one that's Chasing Coral, which is the documentary about the coral
reefs, which
coral
I can't
bleaching.
wait to see. And
It's-
I'm a
it's
scuba diver. I'm a
devastating.
master diver, and it's going to make me cry. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is a discussion for those guys, but I did a project when I was like 9 years old about the Great Barrier Reef.
Aww, that's
And then
so
to see it
sweet.
just like
my God, my
decimated.
coffee.
The big camera lens in our way.
Decimated. I know, I agree. I think that there's something really fascinating about taking responsibility as a filmmaker for the alchemy that you can actually perform.
So let's go back to Bits, of course, because this is the main reason we're here. So how are we going to see, when's it going to be released? Is it going to be...
We just got bought,
By
which
who?
is fantastic. I wonder if I can even say what the company is, but we've been bought by an amazing company here,
Okay.
as well as having our...
Is it theatrically screened or is it in-home?
That's what we're
direct?
going to figure out. We're
Okay.
very excited about it, and they are phenomenal. Yeah, I genuinely love them so much as a company. They're like my favorite company. And
Fantastic.
Peter Mullen came to visit last night, and I was telling him all about it, and he was like, fabulous, that's so fabulous. And it is kind of mind-blowing to just be like, whoa, it's not just a dream anymore, you know, like it's actually happening, and we get to make films that are actually helping people, and that's like why I'm alive. So it feels good.
Yeah. I love that. I love the fact you and Peter Mullen know each other so well, because one of the last films I saw him in was in Tyrannosaur.
Don't you love him in
Oh
that?
my God. And then so
Next
there's a
level.
lot of parallels
It's next level.
between what's going on in Bitch and domestic relationships and what happens in
in
Tyrannosaur
terms
as well.
of Tyrannosaur. Yeah, I think that, well, I saw that at Sundance. Like
Oh,
I sat next
did
to
you?
him when it was playing at Sundance, and I couldn't believe how fantastic he is in that film.
Crazy.
He's so incredible. I mean, he's just always just so consistently good. That's what's incredible about Peter, is his consistency of genius,
Yeah.
you know? Because we all have good days and bad days, but Peter's just there all the time.
Just a pure workhorse doing it in a day in, day out.
Yeah, but it's so natural to him.
Okay.
You know, it's such a genius. It really is genius what he's got going on. You know, like it's not something that he doesn't seem to muster it or like conjure it. It's not something that he like seeks out and tries to find. It seems like it's just oozing out of him, and it's fine. You know, and
It's just always there.
yeah, and I really like that
Good.
a lot. It makes me so happy. I'm like, that is reassuring. Peter Mullen is the most reassuring person there is.
I'm gonna quote that. Awesome. Thank you very much.
I love talking
Thank
to
you. Cheers, Mariana. Next one on the list is Bushwick.
Is Bushwick.
So tell us about Bushwick.
Bushwick is when hipsters attack. No, I don't know.
So-
Essentially, the
Texans.
South, the Texans decide to secede and lay waste on Bushwick to try and
So Bushwick is a region in New York.
in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn,
yes,
yeah.
correct. And they, Texas is seceding, and they are launching an attack to try and claim the North as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we follow David Bautista, who's best known as Drax the Destroyer from Guardians of the Galaxy.
There you go.
And Brittany Snow as they...
Brittany Snow, best known from Pitch Perfect 1 and 2.
Which one's she in Pitch Perfect? I love Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. I was trying
She
to
is
work out
in
which...
Pitch Perfect, right?
Oh, I don't know. Possibly.
Oh, hang on. If I'm wrong, cut me out.
But we follow Dave and Brittany as they try and A, first figure out what's going on, B, get to safe places
Yeah,
and
so
make sure
there's a little bit of a Red Riding Hood story.
Yeah.
So she's in a red coat and she wants to get to Grandma's
Ah,
house.
nice.
There you go.
Nice, I like it.
And we start off with her in the subway. She's coming home from college with her boyfriend, and then they come up to the top of the subway, and like all hell breaks loose, literally, and we don't know what's going on. And the core thing about this film is that it's looks to be shot in that one take style, right? And so a la Rope, a la the gauntlet scene of Children of Men, a la Russian Ark, that beautiful Dunkirk scene in Atonement that was done in one shot. I had a quick chat to the directors, and we just geeked out on like long takes. And they also said that there were 50 edits in the film. Did you have a chat to them?
No, I didn't have a chat to them, unfortunately, but once I realised they were going for that one take view, I was, first of all, in awe, but second of all, looking for a lot of the places.
Where are the cuts?
Yeah, and it became that kind of game to me almost at some point. So it's kind of, I don't know, kind of detracted from it for me for a little bit.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's when the form of the film takes over from the story or just distracts you from the story, and you have to, that's a choice the filmmaker has to make, I guess. And they committed to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, in this world, there's Victoria is the other film recently out.
Birdman.
Birdman.
And the one that was, Victoria actually was done in one take. Yes. And Lost in London Live, which not many people have seen, is the Woody Harrelson one.
Yes.
Which is actually shot live. Oh. And therefore one take. But
I'm a big fan of time image cinema. I think that you feel the weight of time when you are experiencing a single take. Yeah. This one owes more to the like first shooter style, gamification.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that.
So I thought that built it well. And the way that you've got to choreograph Steadicam. But yeah, to your point as well, part of my mind kind of jumped out of the film and was worrying about the Steadicam operator. I'm like, is he going to be okay? Like this shit's getting real.
There's a lot of up and down. There's a lot of climbing over stuff because, I mean, Lost in London was like get into the back of a taxi, go up some stairs, follow them along.
Yeah.
I'm sure Victoria wasn't that taxing.
Yeah.
So one of my best friends is a Steadicam operator, and he's got a big fat rig that he wears with him to carry over. So you got to think about these guys in the back. Yeah, absolutely.
And when I chatted to the directors, what they said was the hardest scene was the monologue.
So the directors Kerry Mooney and Jonathan Millett.
Yeah. And when Dave Bautista does, he reveals his past because we don't quite know who he is, and I won't spoil it. But there is I think it's like a 7-minute take, and apparently that was the hardest take. Well, that was the hardest scene for the Steadicam operator because he didn't move. So he actually had to stay static and hold the frame for 7 minutes, and there was improvisation, so they didn't know how long this was going to go on.
Right.
So for him, that was the hardest thing. Was actually standing still, ironically.
Yeah, I can imagine actually.
Yeah, but hang on, what do we think? We've kind of described.
Yeah, good fun film. And I think, go and see it. It's I like the way you described it as a shoot 'em up kind of first person shoot 'em up kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think for me, I love the high concept and love the action, and even the form of it was great. Yeah, a couple of the characters I was like, bit
clunky.
Yeah, I wanted another pass at the script in general, actually.
Sure.
Just to tighten it up. But that said, a lot of fun. Like, go see it.
Yeah, go see it. I think it's a fair thing, including ones you haven't yet seen. But I would definitely go and see any of these films any day of the week.
Yeah, I feel like
generally
with our critics' hats on, we're still just saying go see it because we love film and go see it.
Chasing Coral, this comes to the first of the documentaries we're going to talk about.
This won the Audience Award at Sundance.
At the big Sundance.
At the big one.
Yeah. So.
And we can see why.
Yeah, absolutely. This is devastating and crazy and
beautiful and essentially anyone who's seen Chasing Ice, which is now on Netflix, this is the same filmmaker, Jeff Orlowski, and he was invited to take part in this film with Richard, who's one of our main characters.
Richard Vivas,
and he's an underwater photographer. And what he wanted to do when he saw Chasing Ice, he wanted to do what they did for ice for the reefs.
So what's happening is the coral bleaching events, they call them, and in the space of a very short space of time, 2 months, you go from very, very vivid coloured coral that's living and vibrant to being bleached white to dying and being covered in algae.
Yeah.
And initially, this is kind of anecdotal evidence of coral bleaching events, but they captured this raw and live. Yeah. And this film kind of there's a few different angles. There's the technical side of how they actually put this together. There's the character side of like people like Zach and Jeff Orlowski.
Zach, you just need to see this film
for Zach.
to like discover Zach, this coral nerd. Who
I talked to Jeff about Zach yesterday.
Did
Yeah,
you?
absolutely.
Oh, isn't he just the best?
He's so stoked about finding Zach as a filmmaker and B, someone who loves coral.
Yeah, it's like match made in heaven. This film for me is a call to arms. It's a siren song in the best possible way. It wants to draw us into the ocean, not to kill us as a siren song does, but to make us discover what's going on. Because I think what's so powerful is, the analogies they draw. They said if this was happening to the rainforests, people would be up in arms.
Yeah.
This is happening to ice, and we can see it now thanks to chasing ice. But this is happening under the water, and it's going ignored. And what was it? There was a crazy statistic, like 96% of the CO2 is being captured by the ocean, which is why the ocean is warming up.
Yep.
And these degrees are killing. You can tell I'm very passionate about this as an Aussie, and the Great Barrier Reef is dying.
Yeah, and I was kind of gobsmacked coming out of it.
Yeah.
I think, myself, you and Si were just like, shit.
Shit. Yeah, it's one of those things, though. I feel like it's documentary as advocacy, and it wants you to sit up and take notice. And I also think it's going to be a great educational tool, but it's also just a beautiful documentary.
Absolutely. Some of the images are outstanding. You have the big images of the Great Barrier Reef, and you have the small microscopic images of the coral.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So as a feat of filmmaking, it is beautiful.
Yeah. And I think this is one of the documentaries that would work better on the bigger screen than the way we've seen it. It's going straight to Netflix, but if you can see it on a bigger screen, I'd say certainly if you can do, it would be really
I'm
benefit
hoping
from
they'll
it.
do a few more festivals people can, because it's extraordinary. And there is one analogy that was drawn, like one scientist was saying, I don't know why people look to the heavens to find aliens. We've got them just below us in the ocean. And just the underwater imagery is staggering and beautiful. And this is a film I can't recommend highly enough.
My name is Jeff Orlowski. I'm the director of Chasing Coral, and we launched this summer on Netflix.
Yeah.
Really excited about that.
Well, we're a Netflix podcast,
Yeah,
so this
exactly.
is prime podcasting real estate here.
Absolutely.
I saw Chasing Coral yesterday.
Cool.
And one thing I've said to a couple of the other guys who've been here watching all the films with me is that when I was 9 or 10 years old, I did a project on the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And when I left university, I then went to learn to scuba dive first in Thailand with the view of like,
cool.
when I get to Australia, I'll just be there ready to go.
Right.
And even then, like, I was so gutted at how the state of the Great Barrier Reef was when I arrived there compared to what it was like in Thailand.
Right.
So this film breaks my heart even more, man.
It's tough. It's tough for all of us.
Yeah.
I similarly, I learned how to scuba dive in Thailand many years ago, and I did 200 dives for this film.
Oh, wow.
So I've gotten very comfortable underwater. And the oceans are changing so much right now. People don't know it just because it's very few people go scuba diving. Very few people
they will
actually
know
go
from
underwater.
watching the film.
That's the hope. I mean, the hope really is that we've been able to document this and to visualize it in a way that people will get it. And if people can see Chasing Coral and get a sense of what's actually happening out there, then this is a success.
I think the starkness comes in how quickly these bleaching events happen.
Yeah.
And that is really heartbreaking. There's those scenes where yourself and Zach are going in every day to capture it, and it's
we watched huge ecosystems die in the matter of 2 months.
Yeah.
And it was so heartbreaking to be out there to see it firsthand. It's just mind-boggling. It's really mind-boggling, and that's why I'm so proud of what our team has pulled off in terms of the footage and what we've been able to capture, because this is really the first time that the public can visualize it, can see what's going on, can understand what's going on.
I think there's kind of a few different parts of this film that I want to kind of unpick a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, there's the environmental side of things, which ties in fantastic with things like, I mean, you even have a similar graph to the Inconceivable Truth.
Yeah.
With talk about in that film they had the CO2 levels in the atmosphere.
Right.
You got the
water temperature that's just going crazy.
And how that affects the bleaching of the corals and then everything else. Then you have the technical side of things, how the fuck do you actually put this thing together? Yeah. And then you have the kind of character pieces behind it as well. So I think there's a lot of really good parts to it.
Yeah, thank you. We really tried to blend. We tried to keep it as little science as possible. Sure. The science is as minimal as you need to understand the story and what's going on. And there are parts that are a little bit tough, but that's. I don't want to overstate that.
But it's still the minimum that you need to know to understand
exactly.
it. Yeah,
but it's an emotional story first and foremost.
Yeah.
It's a character story. It's following these subjects on this adventure, documenting a landscape that they love more than anything else in the world. And that's been one of the interesting things to me, meeting all these scientists who, they're scientists studying the oceans and studying corals because this is what they love more than anything else in the world. They've been diving for 40 years in some cases, some people 50 years or so, like the earliest pioneers of scuba diving, that some of them who are in the film. And they just love these ecosystems, and they're stuck right now knowing that
things
are
going wrong.
Downhill.
Yeah,
that things are going very poorly for these ecosystems. So it was such an emotional struggle just as a human, meeting these subjects and meeting these scientists who, they've been trying to raise the alarm about the story for years and years and years, and nobody seems to be listening. And it's unfortunate that people are now paying more attention just because of how bad it's getting.
Yeah, it should never have got this bad.
It should never have gotten this bad.
Yeah. And that's an ongoing testament for how we work in this world together, isn't it?
Exactly.
It should never get this bad that we need to be so bring in drastic measures.
The scientists are now talking about, like, how do we preserve coral reefs?
Well, this is one thing
the question is, like, can we keep coral reefs on this planet for another 30 years or not? It's a question. We don't know if we're going to be able to keep coral reef ecosystems alive, but at this point it will require human intervention to keep them healthy, just to keep any coral reefs on the planet. Like, that's the scale that we're at right now. I know scientists who are talking about trying to preserve them in aquariums, just like making huge aquariums out of the ocean just to preserve corals, just in case.
Almost, well, in the same way we have zoos,
like seed banks.
Zoos that are protecting wild pandas and things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
So I was wondering how that would work, because the graph trajectory is depressing of the temperature rise.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like it's slowing down at any point. But so I was wondering myself, is how we're gonna, as a race of humans, manage to abate that, considering that in 2 months' time you just showed what was healthy coral, fluorescing magnificent colours.
Yeah.
First going bleach white and then just dying out and getting the algae covering them, and
it's going to be tough to slow that down.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, at this stage, we're not talking about saving coral reefs. We're talking about saving a lot of ecosystems, right? It's we know that glaciers are changing. We know that mangroves are changing.
Well, you were involved in chasing coral. Was it chasing ice?
Chasing ice before this one. Yeah. So we've had this odd firsthand, like, front row seat to watching the planet get destroyed right now. It does feel like the planet is falling apart. And I was talking with somebody about this earlier. Like, when one lives in a city, it's hard to understand how nature is changing. All of your food, all of your water just gets brought to you.
Yeah.
It gets delivered, right? And all the waste just disappears. And we can live these comfortable lives where everything that we need for our survival is brought to us, and then all the waste is gone. And it's so easy to forget where our food and water comes from. And that's what we're talking about. Like, for me, it's not a matter of preserving nature for nature's sake. Yes, it emotionally hurts when we watch these beautiful ecosystems die. But what we're talking about really is the functioning of nature that human civilization is dependent upon. Like, we are jeopardizing food and water for human civilization all around the planet. And where people live is going to be a massive, massive catastrophe in the next coming decades, because people, like, there are estimates of hundreds of millions of climate refugees. So when you picture Syria,
they can't exist in the climate that they're in.
People will be forced to move.
Flooding,
exactly,
flooding,
sea
freezing,
level rise,
high temperatures.
All of the weather extremes that are getting more and more extreme. You can directly link Syria to drought conditions.
Right.
Farmers that were facing drought no longer could grow their crops, so they went into the cities looking for jobs, and you add on to that political turmoil, and then it just makes it's just a powder keg. And we're going to see so much more of that in the coming decades. I don't mean to be like a fearmonger by any means. This is very, very real stuff that we're going to be dealing with.
That's one of the things I took away, was that this is what's going on in some parts of the ocean and the water, but this needs to be part of what's going on with chasing coral. Needs to be seen alongside chasing ice. Needs to be seen alongside Cowspiracy. Needs to be seen alongside Inconceivable Truths 1 and 2. And people kind of sit down together and say, guys, we need to do it as a wanna. It's not just we'll sort out the sea. We'll sort out the CO2. It needs to be considered as a whole huge piece.
Here's the most simple analogy. I look at planet Earth as a huge bank account. All right, and for all of human civilization, we've just been able to withdraw. We've been taking, and it's been fine for hundreds of thousands of years, because the planet's been able to replenish itself for such a long time. It's been great. And the challenge has been human population rise. And as we have more and more people, we've been withdrawing more and more from this huge bank account.
Yeah.
And the scientists are telling us we're emptying the account. We're in the red. We're in the principal. We're going to hit bankruptcy soon. And the scientists are telling us, wake up, everybody. Like, look, we're going to hit the wall. And we know that other civilizations in the past have hit collapse because of that. They overuse their resources. Human civilization is on that path right now. It is a scary reality.
But can I quickly love to talk about Zach for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
He seemed like, as the documentary presented, he was a lucky accident in terms of...
Zach was an incredible blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
He was on our team from the beginning to help with the cameras, and I don't think anybody on our team realized what his story was and his personal passion and his personal care. He grew up working in aquariums and coral aquariums, growing corals for years and years.
Who grows their own coral?
Who grows their own coral?
He's the kind of person that we'll need now in the future.
Exactly. We've been talking about Zach, taking on some aquarium projects to manage and be in charge of some corals. Zach, he's just such an incredible, genuine person, and his authenticity just screams through the footage. And hopefully, if people can watch Zach's story, fall in love with Zach's story, and fall in love with the corals through Zach, then hopefully we have a little bit of hope for these ecosystems.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to watch it again certainly with my wife when it comes out
thanks so
on
much.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Jeff.
So awesome. Thanks, Kobe.
Crown Heights.
Oh, another true story.
Yeah, another true story.
What's happening in the world? Yeah, well, you were telling me the background on this story.
Yeah, so I first heard about this while doing the research on these. This is initially came to light via an episode of This American Life, which I will link to that episode, guys, in the show notes, because I think it's really good comparison piece to the film, telling the true story of a guy who was incarcerated unjustly and spent 20 years in prison, wasn't allowed parole for a crime he didn't commit, i.e. killing someone, and subsequently he does get out due to the hard work of his brother.
Yeah. His bestie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. And this won the Audience Award at the Sundance Film Festival this year. And I can see why. It's such an incredible true story, incredible performances. This is writer-director Matt Ruskin, who, when I had a chat to him, we were talking about, This American Life. And I said, well, how did you kind of translate that to a podcast to a big screen, and he said, well, a lot of it was going back to the records. So there's an amazing parole scene, and I guess it's no spoiler because we know he's stuck in jail forever and ever, that he said was verbatim what happened was the actual transcript. And when you listen to it, you're like, this is horrific, the travesty that's occurring, and to know that that's the actual dialogue is incredible. So really drawing from the archives, and what an incredible performance as well.
Yeah, like Keith Stanfield, and he's in incredible Jessica
James as well, yeah.
And he's someone that's cropping up more and more in films I'm seeing and liking a lot. So I've got a lot of high hopes for him as an actor.
Absolutely on the radar. Yeah. He's kind of the MVP of Sundance London,
right?
Yeah,
probably, definitely. Yeah.
Between the two films. If I'm gonna be critical, I would say, because it's a true story, and obviously they wanted to be very true to it, true to the true story, it feels very worthy. And, I can completely understand why. I wondered if there wasn't a way to bring more energy to it.
Okay, yeah, a bit more. I think it could, a bit of heft and sometimes it didn't feel like there was enough emotion outside of things like the parole scene, and because sometimes he was like, it's not worked this time, we're going to have to try again in another year. It didn't seem like there was much kind of weight behind that, because he just went back into cell again, and then 5 years go past again, and then they try again, and it didn't seem like there's that much heft. And sometimes, often with biopics, I'd often like to see the documentary more than the dramatization.
There you go.
Truth being stranger than fiction sometimes, and obviously this is a true story, and I think this story will get a wider reach because of the fact it's dramatized in a way that's more accessible. But I'd love to, if there was a companion piece documentary with this.
I think a good companion piece right now is a double bill that I would absolutely recommend is Crown Heights, and then watch 13th, Ava DuVernay's doco.
Yeah, 13th is outstanding. Yeah, and they did reference the 13th in this as well.
They do.
Yeah.
So to my mind, the
13th Amendment and the implications of the 13th. Yeah,
absolutely.
like Bill Clinton's
Yeah, everyone, all the politicians are wanting to up their crime heft, and that's just sticking people in prison more and more. And they do kind of mention the prison industrial complex.
Yeah.
But for me, a great double bill. Crown Heights.
Yeah,
13th,
absolutely.
get
Watch
involved.
13th, guys. It's outstanding, gobsmacking. We move on to Dina, which is the second documentary. Do you want to take us away on this one?
Yes. Oh, so this one won the Grand Jury Prize, and it is an incredible love story between two autistic people on the autistic spectrum, Dina and Scott. And this is one of those films that makes you love documentary, because documentary just brings you into people's lives. The amount of trust that these two filmmakers,
Kind
Dan
of crazy,
and Antonio,
isn't it?
how did they
capture half the images? That's one thing I didn't get to speak to. Do you speak to them at all?
No, so I'm doing a panel with them.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to speak to them on Sunday. I'm very
So
excited.
for one question for me is like, how trusting were they of the footage that they were capturing? How trusting was Scott and Dina of what was going on?
I think what was remarkable for me is that Dina does love reality TV.
Yes.
So I wonder if
she loves
that
the
was
Kardashians,
the it.
for example.
That's it. She was watching the Kardashians, and for me, I wonder if that wasn't their in, because it's like, well, here's a reality show about your life, but beautifully shot, incredible amount of trust and heart in this film. And to me, what it's about connection.
Yeah.
Like, regardless, yes, they are on the autistic spectrum, but they're two people trying to connect.
Yeah.
And how does that happen in the best of circumstances and in the worst? Like how, Scott serenades her. That's his way to connect. She wants more physical connection.
You can tell he loves her so much, but he can't work on the same level that Dina can in that respect.
That's it. And it's about them trying to find an accord. And I don't think we want to spoil her background, but there is something there. And the film builds to this moment where you find out what's happened in her past.
Yeah.
And that is done in an incredible single shot, which, is pure filmmaking. I thought it was incredibly powerful.
Nice.
Yeah, this is one of those films that just gets in your heart and stays there.
Well, we'll go on to the next one, even though you haven't seen a ghost story. You haven't seen it.
You can just tell me.
I'm going to tell you.
Excited, but no spoilers, because I really, really want to see this
So,
one.
yeah, David Lowery previously directed Pete's Dragon, which I haven't seen, and Ain't Them Body Saints, which I have seen, which also features Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. Tells the story beautifully of the story of a young couple, Casey and Rooney, and Casey's unfortunate demise in a car accident, and then he comes back resurrected as a ghost. You think of ghosts with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, but it's just not even slightly in that kind of same wheelhouse. For the most part, the ghost appears as typical kids with a bed sheet over their heads with two eye holes cut out, and that's how you see the ghost throughout the rest of the film as it goes on. It's shot looks like an Instagram shot
Which filter?
This is it. I don't know. I was trying to work out.
Gingham?
There might be just one called Perfect. Perfection for this film. Really, I was going to say. I'm going to say haunting. Even I don't want to say that, but
that's fine.
Yeah.
I love a good pun.
But the soundscape is fantastic. The way there's lots and lots of time to breathe and think.
Yeah.
The story it takes you upon, and I don't know how to describe it, but there's a bit of like Interstellar kind of vibe to it, with a bit of Pixar, with a bit of Disney, with a bit of rom-com, it's just very, very engaging and heartful and heartfelt, and I think everyone should see it, and I don't think everyone will come out of it with a big smile on their face.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's some people, and I think it's true to say of all these films, because I love films, I can watch them all irrespectively, save for things like Transformers. And I know there's films that people won't agree with because they're like, what the fuck happened? What are you doing? There's people like,
if it doesn't tie it up with a bow.
Yeah, exactly. So people don't like Donnie Darko, people don't like Interstellar, people don't like Mulholland Drive because they're like, well, what happened at the end? So for those kind of people, it's not going to...
There's a whole thing about like eating your cinematic vegetables, right? Like, is this broccoli?
Yeah.
When you actually just want to have hot chips. So... and I've talked about that with like eating my cultural vegetables. It's like, oh, I know I should see this, but I don't really feel like it. That's what I think is so important about film festivals, because not only do you just get swept up in the spirit of cinema, but it's a safe space to kind of challenge yourself and try a film that maybe you wouldn't before. And maybe that sounds like Ghost Story.
I think anyone who's even considering coming to Sundance will love a Ghost Story.
Love it.
Icarus, fuck.
I mean, I think we've just reviewed it with that one word, because like that's it.
Yeah.
Just fuck. Okay, we've also got a fucking face palm from Kobe over here because, oh my goodness, this film. We can't spoil it.
We can't spoil it.
We can say that it won the Documentary Special Jury Award, the Orwell Award, at Sundance. It's a film that starts off seemingly to be a bike doping, starts off being a cycling story a la Super Size Me.
Yes.
So Brian Fogel is a keen bean cyclist, and he wanted to prove that anti-doping is really easy to do by doping himself. What then happens? I mean, we can't spoil it. We can't spoil
terrifying and horrifying, and it ties in with the Olympics.
Yeah.
Is all I want to say. But
yes. And we can also say Russia? I think we can say Russia.
Russia in the Olympics.
Because I think with this political climate, it's incredibly topical.
One thing I'll say is I spoke to Brian, not officially, but briefly yesterday, and he was saying, I walk around with security guards now.
Far out.
And after watching this film, 100%,
you can
understand why.
Let's talk about it as a feat of filmmaking. There's some incredible cinematography. He goes on this, what's it called? The haute route?
Haute route, yeah. Which is the hardest, 7 stages of the Tour de France put together, basically.
And for amateur cyclists, it's basically people who are insane.
Yeah.
And there's some incredible cinematography there around that. To me, my favorite thing about the film is the dog, his dog, Max. I love his dog, Max. But this is one of those films that we can't spoil, but the way that the film kind of catches up with itself and realizes what's going on is really, really well done. And it is fairly long. It's 120 minutes, but it doesn't feel it.
Yeah, and I think it has to be that way because, and I was speaking to Simon about this as well, the first part of the story, like you're saying, is a Super Size Me on doping. And that in itself would be a great documentary.
Right.
And then it just takes a shift 20 gears upwards and makes you sit up in your seat and start to question everything.
See what you did there. That was a cycling part.
So.
But I think I even wrote in my notes somewhere, I think I just wrote holy shit at one point. What is going on? And it's, my advice to listeners, do not read anything about this film.
Yeah.
Just go and see it.
Because the few people I spoke to outside of that who didn't know what the story was, they went in there saying, I like documentaries. It didn't seem like one for me, but fuck.
This is like Mission Impossible and meets Super Size Me, meets the Tour de France, meets just batshit insanity.
Absolutely.
And just go see it.
The next thing on the list is the incredible Jessica James.
Oh, this is my favorite.
Is this your favorite? I was going to ask at the end. So you've just spoiled it.
Spoiler alert. This is my favorite.
It's all right. So, incredible Jessica James. So
this is my favorite feature. Documentary, I think I have to sit on the fence between Icarus.
It has to be all three of them, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm like, Icarus, Dina, and Chasing Coral are all amazing. But yes, Jessica James is my favorite. This is the story of an incredible woman who is just living her life. She works for a non-profit who teaching children theatre studies and theatre and playwriting. She is herself an aspiring playwright who has not yet had any success getting picked up. She has just gone through a breakup and she starts dating a recently divorced dude, Chris O'Dowd, from my new hometown, Dublin. And it is just one of those super charming comedies, love stories, coming to terms with yourself and your own experience stories. She is fabulous. Jessica Williams.
Jessica Williams is amazing. I know, and you spoke to Jim as well, didn't you?
I did,
yes,
yeah.
I've seen the footage. And did you speak to Jessica as well?
I spoke to her at the party.
Okay.
And I just basically asked her if she would be my new best friend.
And what did she say?
She was like, back away from me.
Get the fuck out of here.
She's fantastic.
She's really lovely. I spoke to her as well briefly in passing, but when I didn't know much about the film, apart from knew Jessica Williams, and I thought the film was written by her, a la, what's the name? What's the lady writes Girls?
Oh, Lena Dunham.
Yeah, so I thought it was kind of her own vehicle.
Oh, right.
Just because of the way it's been put together and it's so perfectly worked together. But then speaking to Jim Strauss yesterday, he said, I wrote it for Jessica Williams. I met her a few times and worked with her and thought, I need to write something for you. And that totally works as all the main characters. Jessica Williams, Lakeith Stanfield appearing again after Crown Heights.
MVP of the festival.
Yeah, Chris O'Dowd, who's awesome in this, and her best friend Noel, played by Noel Wells. So just a really fun film, and this does 85, 90 minutes.
Yeah, perfectly paced.
Perfectly paced, flies along.
See, that's where I would say The Big Sick minus 20 minutes
Yeah,
could have
easily been the
got
same.
to
Yeah.
this. Yeah, whereas I think what Jessica James doesn't overstay its welcome. There's a dance sequence which is interrupted by a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which, you know, that feeling when you're
Yes.
dancing your own fabulousness, but then see sex is amazing. She is on point. She is both fiercely confident and so insecure and plays it really well. It, you know, we are now in a post-girls universe, and this is the film to take us there,
And
right?
she's one of the few people that can get away with saying, "Yeah, I'm dope,"
Yeah,
and get away.
I'm a unicorn.
I'm a unicorn. Yeah, that's it. I'm a unicorn.
Yeah.
And get away with
And
it.
we're like, yes,
you are. Yeah.
You are fantastic. And just a shout out to the kids as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The kids are amazing
So
in this. Yeah.
wonderful, and that's not easy to do.
And they have some of the most inbuilt emotional scenes, I think, in this, a big heart of the films.
Absolutely. This one, it's going to get a wide release,
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna. Well, no, it's going. It's
Oh, it's
well,
going
it's on
to
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is for
So
me.
you'll be able to see it everywhere.
This is the film that you are going to watch over and over again. You are going to sit down with, you know, your Friday night pizza and a beer and cuddle up with your loved ones and adore.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm Jim Strauss, the writer-director of the incredible Jessica James. And the movie, it all kind of begins and ends with Jessica Williams and being a fan of hers. And I made a film where she played a supporting part in a couple years ago, and from that experience, I was already a big fan of hers from The Daily Show.
Yeah.
And then I got a chance to meet her and work with her, and it was just so fun that I really it inspired me to write this thing for her, because I really just think she's one of the most talented people in the world.
And it does actually shine through that this was made for her, actually, because when I knew you directed him, I didn't know you'd written it. I assumed that she'd almost written it from her point of view. So I thought, okay, that's good. You've written the film for a female character, and then Jessica came along and thought, yeah, you're the one for the role. But you've actually written it based on knowing her and how she works.
Yeah.
And how she interacts with the world.
The movie wouldn't work with anyone but Jessica in my mind. I was like, there's particular lines that one in particular where she says, yeah, I know you like me. Everyone likes me. I'm freaking dope. And I was like, that's gonna work. That's gonna be funny when Jessica says it, but it's hard to imagine
other people pulling off.
Like where that's not obnoxious or funny.
And she calls herself a unicorn on multiple occasions, which could send people off the wrong way thinking about it, but it just makes her more endearing in the film.
Yeah, it was fun, like imagining it. Like I could see I was always smiling thinking about it, kind of like, because I had her specifically in mind, and it was amusing me. It was making me laugh just thinking about it.
Well, like I said, I really enjoyed the film, and I mean, it'd be great to talk about the other characters in there, Chris O'Dowd and Lakeith, and who's the other lady who plays Jessica's friend?
Noelle Wells.
Yeah. How do those guys become a part of the?
Part of it? I think that I just, in my experience, just sort of kind of like beg everyone. And once again, Jessica helped a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was nice that we had this film, People, Places, Things, that we'd made together. So, and then the script was out there. So when going out to someone like Chris O'Dowd or Lakeith Stanfield, they could say, it's like, here's the script, and then here's what Jim and Jessica have done before. You can see like
progress, the direction.
Yeah, a little bit like that. It wasn't just sort of, there was some tangible stuff to look to. And I think, I know for a fact that Chris O'Dowd was a fan of Jessica's, and sort of that was a big draw for him.
Yeah.
And all of them, it's kind of just like, in my experience, in every project, it begins with writing a impassioned letter. Like, you have agents to do things for you too, but like I try to put a personal touch, kind of like, please join us on this thing. This is why I want you in particular to be part of this. And it worked. Both of them read the letters, and then we met and we talked and
got on.
And Noelle too. Like we all, it began with that.
And the kids in this film are fantastic as well in the theatre setup. How are they how do they to work with?
Those I love kids. I've made actually I've directed 4 films and they've all had kids in them. And they say watch out for animals and kids, but I love kids. I love working with kids.
Some of the most heartwarming parts of the film involving the children in Jessica James.
I love children's theater. That's something that's in the story, and it comes naturally out of something that I'm interested in as a father. I put my kids in children's theater program, and I saw firsthand kind of the confidence it gave them to sort of write something and put it on. And so that was something that I really wanted to explore and kind of promote in the film. And some of those kids actually came from a theater program that's very much like the one depicted in the film.
Okay.
So half of them were professional sort of actors who are auditioning a lot, and then half of them were kids from this actual program who'd never acted in anything before.
And how kind of, I know you wrote it for Jessica, but is there any kind of biographical aspect to it? Because one thing I really loved about the story is how she came to terms with what success is for her. Is there any kind of self-referential aspect to the film in those kind
Definitely. I in as far as my own path goes, I've found that when I started, there was this idea that like success was a mountain peak that you sort of climbed to, and once you got there, like everything was going to be amazing for the rest of your life. And what I realized after making a couple films was that it's the climb.
Yeah.
It's the climb. And like and I think before I made a film, before I ever got anything published, sort of my idea of success was kind of like the aftermath of the work.
Sure.
And now now I'm never happier than when I'm writing or making something.
It's the process.
Everything after is interesting and nice too, but it's the work.
I think that's really important to let people know about, because no matter how successful or unsuccessful you are, whatever that scale may be, there's people who are fixated with going into work day in, day out, whether you're Tarantino on his first film to Tarantino on the later film. I'm sure you'll get bigger and bigger budgets, but I'm sure the process for yourself will still be, the enjoyment will still come from being part of it, writing and creating and crafting and putting these things out there.
Yeah.
And
the collaboration of it all. It's like, it's I that is true to my life, and I do think it's a moment I really love in the movie where Sarah Jones says to Jessica, kind of like, "You're doing it."
Yeah, and that was the part I was referring to. I didn't want to. Well, it's fine.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, sorry. This contained a spoiler alert. You just missed it. Can you talk a bit about the Netflix aspect of things? How's that working for independent filmmakers and people like yourselves, and for you getting the films out there more?
I can say, like, particularly to my experience in the film business, it's interesting. Like I said, this is my 4th film, and I've gone down different paths with each film. The first film I directed, Netflix was different. Yeah, it was very different.
Was that it was still the DVDs through the post model?
Yeah. So this is my first experience with Netflix, sort of from the get-go. After premiering the film at Sundance,
the Big Boy Sundance,
they acquired it. What's that?
So the Big Boy Sundance in Park City.
Yeah. Oh, it's in Utah. Yeah. And my experience with them has been really great and positive. Like there's been a personal touch behind every part of it, kind of like, this is what we're doing, and a sharing of images and trailers in a way that like I was not so like sort of warmly embraced and brought into it, and at other places and other more sort of traditional routes, the other films I've had, sort of like, all right, thanks, we don't need you anymore,
right?
And that's not the case here with Netflix. And then also just like having grown up in kind of rural Indiana, Netflix would have changed my life. I mean, I saw everything on VHS at the video store like 2 years after it was
came out in the cinema theatrical release. Yeah.
So I love that this film is available everywhere at once, and I'm excited about the Netflix audience.
And when does it come out? For
July 28th.
July 28th. Okay. We'll put a big sound out when it does come out because I think everyone should see it. It's a fantastic piece of work.
No, thanks.
What's next for you guys? What for yourself?
Well, I'd like to continue working with Jessica.
Sure. Now you're in London. Jessica's in London. I think you should do some
sequel.
Yeah, exactly. Just do something here. You're right in the West End, talking about the theatre district.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of big productions going. Hamilton starting in a few months' time here, so you won't have to miss that in New York. So I think you should just camp out here for a bit.
That's what's next.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
These next two are Marjorie Prime and Walking Out, which you haven't seen.
Oh man, so you're just going to have to tell me about these.
So Marjorie Prime
is miss them.
So Marjorie Prime tells a story of a lady played by Lois Smith her husband died. This is in the near future, in a place where you can download. I think they call it the singularity. The singularity is achieved where you can download the memories of someone into a bot, basically, that takes the form of a hologram, played in this first instance by John Hamm, and tells the story of those two. Lois Smith is an old elderly lady who's losing her mind, potentially by Alzheimer's, and is recourted by John Hamm, who keeps her company in her old age. Also supported by her daughter, who's played by Gina Davis, and her husband, who's played by Tim Robbins, who play a big part in this. And they're probably the people who have brought the Prime back to Lois's life to kind of help her through her ailing stages.
So is it like Her meets Robot and Frank?
So exactly, Her, Robot and Frank, and also there's an episode of Black Mirror which looks at this kind of idea as well.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and it's a really cool story. It's a really nice story. And
great concept.
Yeah, great concept.
Does he pull it off?
He does do. Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, and
spoiler, he pulls it off.
He pulls it off. Yeah, and this is based on a play, and you can kind of tell that it was a play transposed into film. Nothing wrong with that at all, but you can kind of see the wordiness of it sometimes, and how it plays out and how the cameras move. But it's very, very beautiful, very, very ethereal, very, very conceptual in its way it's been put together. So
is it? I mean, we're an aging population. I think these stories that talk about dealing with aging and dealing with the fragility of our minds are so important. And if this is done in a way that's engaging and as well and can bring people of our age along, then great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sign me up.
Hi guys, at this point I'd like to introduce you to the chat that I had with the director and screenwriter of Marjorie Prime. That's Michael Almereda. It was a really good chat, and sorry to interrupt the conversation myself and Alice are having right now, but I thought it was really good for you to listen to what his thoughts were when coming to make the film and everything surrounding that. So we'll get back to myself and Alice very shortly. So can you give everyone who's listening to this episode an introduction to you and why we're here at the Sundance London Film Festival?
You're making me do the work.
Well,
okay.
yeah, I want to hear you.
Why
They've
not?
heard my voice far too long.
I've made a film called Marjorie Prime.
Yeah.
That premiered at Sundance a few months ago. And now this is a mini Sundance in London.
Yeah.
And they've invited me and the film to be here to speak to you.
And it's a great film. I saw it last night.
You saw it? Okay.
Yeah,
you're the rare journalist who actually saw the film.
Really?
Thank you. Yeah.
No, there's quite a few in the screening last night.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And it kind of tells a story of, trying to recover from loss, in a way, is the heart of the story, but set in a near future where technology can enable us to connect with our lost ones.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about how that manifests in the film and how...
It comes from a young playwright.
Yeah.
Who had, in his own life, he was thinking of his grandmother who was losing her memory and her mind really to dementia, and his parents would come and visit her, and they developed a kind of journal where they would write down elements of her life and try to explain to her who she was.
Okay.
Tell her stories about herself so she could hang on by this little ledge to some kind of reality. And Jordan, the playwright, felt that this was poignant, and he externalized it because he's also interested in artificial intelligence. He externalized it by thinking, what if you could download someone's memories into a holographic projection, a person that resembled or identically duplicated the exterior aspect of someone who died. So in the play, this is a long way around saying that John Hamm, who's in his 40s, plays the husband of Marjorie, played by Lois Smith, who's in her 80s. So it's how Marjorie wants to remember her husband. And as a younger version, who's not old yet, and who is able to project their life together to kind of explain her to herself, prodding her to eat food and to look after herself, and also supplying memories that she's begun to forget.
And that's the version that she recreates with John, is the when they first met and when they first got engaged. But then during the conversations, they're talking about things that happened in their marriage together. So it goes beyond what would have been his physical form, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
And who else is in the film?
Gina Davis plays Marjorie's daughter, and Tim Robbins plays her husband.
Yeah. And a nice little puppy dog as well.
A nice little what?
A nice little dog as well.
Yes, we got the dog wasn't in the play, on stage.
But the Gina Davis and Tim Robbins' characters are very instrumental. I got the impression that they actually suggested to Marjorie in the first place to get the prime, as they're referred to.
Yeah, you're better at explaining this than I am.
Sure.
Yes, they did, and they had an internal conflict about whether it was a good idea and how much of it's an invasion or how much of it might be futile. But this is a technology I've since learned from making the movie. The people at Google are developing this technology. It's around the corner. It's not just around the corner. It's here, but it isn't marketable yet. It's a decision people are going to be making in their lives about whether you want your loved one to be represented and
live on past their demise.
Exactly.
In no uncertain terms.
So it's actually it's in the air. It's around the corner.
What are your thoughts to investing in a prime?
I live with enough ghosts without having to actualize them. I think my memory, I began to realize that as you get older, or even when I was younger, I spent a lot of time thinking about people who aren't alive. It's just the nature of my reality is that I have personal history with people I've never met. If you care about, say, movies or any kind of art, you're making contact with a lot of people who were alive earlier, and that they can touch you in a very deep way. So it's, in some ways, it's not a very abstract concept, no. But Jordan made it very concrete, and reality is making it concrete too. So if I could sit down with Shakespeare, sure. but in a way we already can. You open a book and you're sitting down with Shakespeare.
There with them. Yeah. And that kind of helps with the people who aren't immortalized in some way, shape or form, is to revisit them, because obviously you have your pictures and the memories that you have with loved ones, but often you can't replay.
It's getting more democratic. Yeah. Now with Facebook. Yes, we can. Sure.
There was an old kind of adage. I can't remember who. I want to say it's Maya Angelou. I will check it before coming back onto it. But they say that she's saying that you can't often remember the arguments you have with someone or the exact memories, but you can remember how someone makes you feel once they're gone, whether they've passed on or they're not here for
that's a profound thing.
Yeah. And
you don't remember where she said it?
I can't remember. I need to. Guys, check the show notes. I will link to this because it's horrific for me to mention this without bringing it on. Do you think the prime kind of takes away from that kind of warm glow feeling that you have of someone after?
Well, in the movie, and in the play for that matter, it's an idealized notion that you can connect across time once the person's gone, and it's a hopeful idea. There's something implicitly creepy and sinister too, of trying to break the rules of nature and preserve something that is obviously not naturally preserved. But you have to hope that technologies, and John Hamm is good at saying this when we were on the circuit together, that he believed it's actually a hopeful. I think if you're open-minded and optimistic, that this technology could be human, that it's a way of humans becoming more human. That technology can enhance our humanity, not displace it or crowd it out. So the way the play presents it, there's ambiguity, but it's one of the rare movies about artificial intelligence where the artificial creatures don't start killing people. Not to give too much away.
No, well,
but it's very conventional.
Okay, there's no.
To have an AI story where the bad guys are AI, and in this case, the good guys are AI.
There are a few AI films out there. Her being one of them.
That's true. That's a positive example.
It's positive in the fact that no one gets killed by AIs, but there's still
there's ambiguity,
emotions there. And Black Mirror has investigated a similar kind of theme with one of its episodes starring Donald Gleason. But one thing can you talk a bit about how this was transposed from the from the play format into
Sure.
the film, and
There was some elemental changes. The play is actually quite similar, but by just adding a few layers of my own invention, it lifted it into a different area. I set the house where the action takes place on the beach,
yeah,
and that the presence of the ocean and of the water and the sky, I hope, give it a different
dimension,
feeling, a dimension and a feeling. To get back to Maya Angelou, yes. so you wouldn't experience that on stage, and I added things you can't easily fit on stage, like more than a. Well, there are three. We had 3 dogs.
You can't easily fit an ocean on stage,
right?
For a start, or the sea.
So that, I think, stretched the story in a way that I'm happy with.
Yeah. How do you think films that were originally from plays tend to play in the cinema?
It just depends on the director and the play. I feel unapologetic about it. I don't think the movie's theatrical just because it comes from a play. And movies can be cinematic if it's just people in a room talking too.
Absolutely.
So not to be too pretentious, but Bergman was a big exemplary figure for me, and the cameraman, the cinematographer. We looked at Bergman films because he had his own little island, and he had people come to the island, and he made about 6 masterpieces where you don't really get out of the house much except to look at the ocean, and nothing's more cinematic than that for me.
I think so. And I mean, Fences was a classic. Well, I wouldn't say a classic because it came out last year, but it did really well in the awards season last year and got lots of.
So it doesn't have to limit you by.
No,
yeah,
not at all. But it gives a good, absolute seed for.
Well, what you want are emotions to be running wild, and you can do that in any situation. So I was when I saw the play with Lois in the lead role, I was instantly thinking about how it could be a movie, and we went out for a drink afterwards, and she asked the writer, and he was open-minded, and I just got lucky that he trusted me.
So it was your idea to bring it to the silver screen?
Yes.
Okay. And how long was that kind of process did it take to...
It was very fast.
Realize, yeah.
We were lucky. And Lois, as the lead actress, had played it on stage. She'd shot the movie, and then the next day went to New York to play it on stage again. So she's played this role 3 times.
How long did it take to capture everything?
3 weeks. It was very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's the benefit of a closed kind of set, as it were.
Exactly. And it's a benefit of having a good team and actors who know what they're doing.
And I really loved seeing Tim Robin and Gina Davis actually back on screen. Not seeing
I'm
them
glad.
that often for a while.
They'd been old friends, and they'd never been in a movie together.
Oh, really?
Because, you know, Tim was married to Susan Sarandon, who's a good friend of Gina's, and they were in Thelma and Louise.
Absolutely.
So you feel that they're of the same family, even though they hadn't quite shown up in a movie together. They had a lot of history, and so that was a shorthand for them. They didn't have to rehearse being married to each other. They somehow had been married.
They knew
vicariously.
vicariously.
They knew more about each other than they probably wanted to know.
I think that's
you rounded the corner. I'm grateful that you saw the movie. It's a nice change.
Thank you very much for your time. Walking out is, you've seen The Revenant, right?
I have survived The Revenant.
You've survived The Revenant.
I feel like that's the way to say that.
So this is, if you've seen The Revenant, you kind of get the idea of the story where there's, but it's a lot smaller, a lot more personal story, telling the story of a dad who takes his son out for his first big kill, which is supposed to be a moose, who they're estranged. The son lives in the city, dad lives in the mountains, in the snow, and 2 weeks before his son arrives, he's been tracking this moose for a couple of weeks, waiting for his son to come along and get the first kill. I'm using it primarily as a way to get to know each other better. Along the story, there's an accident. Both of them get hurt, but the dad comes off worse than the son, and the son becoming stronger as a result of having to carry his dad out of the wilderness through this horrible situation, and becoming, you know, a man, as it were, through his dad's eyes.
Parable and an actual coming of age.
And I was speaking to Alex Smith and Andrew Smith, who wrote it and directed it, and they were saying that it's based on the Greek legends. I think it's the Aeneid. There's a story in the Aeneid about a son carrying the father out of danger. So that's where the crux of the short story comes from. I hadn't heard that before, but I thought it was a really cool kind of thing.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they are twin brothers.
Yeah.
And they work in different cities, and one of them's a night owl, one of them's a morning person, and they basically create a 24-hour work schedule based on their own biorhythms.
So they're just constantly churning stuff out all
That's
the time.
it. Yeah. And this film was really born of Sundance.
Yeah.
So they went through the lab experience. They've had other films at Sundance. So they're just, they remind us why Sundance is really important, because
definitely.
these films just don't get made anymore. These, kind of mid-budget, really important father and son stories, you're not seeing as many of them these days, and I think that's why Sundance is important.
And you're talking about mid-budget as well, because I was speaking to them about how this is made, because this film looks fucking freezing. And they're saying, it was cold out there,
Yeah. I mean, I think they're Montana boys, aren't they? So hopefully they're
they can deal with it.
They can deal with it a bit better than me.
But you're from Sydney.
Yeah. I'd be dead.
Yeah, I'd be dead.
The grizzly would have got me.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
And I was comparing this with Everest, where I could tell with Everest that was done on green screen. It was fake snow in places. It's been done with a bigger budget. The necessity, they were constrained by the budget, but that makes it so much better and powerful in many ways.
And made them colder as
well. And made them cold as well.
Right.
This is Alex Smith, and he's the director and writer of the film.
And this is Andrew Smith, and he's the director and writer of Walking Out. Yes, and Walking Out is a story of a boy who goes to visit his father for a hunting trip, and they head up into the mountains, and they're estranged from each other, and they're trying to connect, but there's a lot of friction between them. The boy's a city boy, and the man's a mountain man.
Yeah.
And they end up having sort of a pretty horrible encounter in the heart of the wilderness with some nature, with some grizzly bears. And they both get seriously injured, the father to such a bad degree that the boy has to put him on his back and carry him out of the woods. And through that crucible of conflict, they bond.
It's kind of interesting, like you say, there's that city boy, estranged
the
from
city mouse, country mouse,
estranged from the hard-wearing country dad who's used to living out in the wilderness, used to living in huts for time, and he's kind of disappointed in his son in a way, isn't he? But the flip when his son says, "I'll carry you," you can see the pride kind of coming out from him, even though he's effectively helpless. He feels like, right on, you're gonna save us. Can you talk a bit about that? How that idea came about?
Well, the film is based on a short story, so the short story enacts that change, and the short story is kind of mythic in its structure. I mean, it's mythic in the sense that it goes back to the Greeks. I mean, the story is inspired by an episode in the Aeneas.
Okay.
Where Aeneas carries his father out of Rome, as it's burning, right?
Out of Troy.
Troy, other place. So, I would say that that element of the son becoming the caretaker and becoming the father is a very deeply embedded part of our consciousness.
Okay.
So it's just an enactment of that.
And one thing we did updating the short story was bringing technology in as a character, with the boy being very plugged in and very connected to his phone and not so connected to nature, and really sort of showed him learning from the mountain and connecting to the mountain through this experience, which makes the father very happy and undisappointed, as you said.
Undisappointed. Yeah. But you see through flashback the dad's own experience at the same kind of age, getting to grips with the mountains and getting to grips with nature and how things, and connecting with his dad as well.
Yeah.
So you get the sense that he's kind of reliving his life, I guess, vicariously is perhaps the word, I don't know, through what his son's going through.
The word you said, discipline, I would say that in a way that the other story we learn about what happened when the father went hunting with his father, which we see in flashback, was sort of, as Andrew was saying, a curse that was put on him by the mountain.
Right.
And he hopes to lift the curse via teaching his son the proper way to hunt, the proper way to connect to the mountain. So the disappointment's actually more about what happened to him in the past than what's happening in the present.
His son David actually he gets to watch his son be converted.
Yeah.
Not by him, but by the experience of being apart from his safety, his safety ropes, his technology, as Alex mentions, his mother, but also just the reality he's been growing up with. He actually, there are moments where David is on his own, seeing the potential of a spiritual, if you will, connection with nature that brings him into his own. And so Cal, the father, gets to see that,
Yeah.
and that's where he starts to, even before I think, his son has the brilliant idea of carrying him, he gets to see the boy coming into his own, which is probably better than he could have imagined in some ways.
Well, I think, and when you see, without going into explain what happens, but when there are things that happen once the carrying happens, that's you can see the dad really kind of saying, "Yeah, I love what you're doing." So I'd love to talk. Obviously, this is set in the wilderness, in the mountains, lots and lots of snow. How fun was that, or not, to film it?
Fun wasn't really part of the deal, but certainly, the crew was well prepared, and they were amazingly uncomplaining, by and large. Our actors were amazingly uncomplaining,
right?
And that was where you kind of worry, is that these actors who are used to a different kind of size of production and scale would be,
freaking out,
having a hard time, and they were macho.
Yeah, I mean, the all the challenges presents verisimilitude on screen. So, as challenging as what it added to the reality of the situation, like that was really high altitude, that was real snow.
Yeah, I can tell there's real snow.
It was very steep inclines that they were going up, and there was a point when we were we were at the highest point on the mountain, and we had sledded in our gear for like about a half a mile, and we were shooting on this very steep incline, and we were running out of daylight and running out of time, and Matt Bomer nudged Josh Wiggins and said, "This is as real as it gets," and that was a great compliment to what the world that we were able to create to allow them to really be in the skin of these two characters.
Yeah, and I think it shows very well on screen. Even I saw Everest when it came out a couple of years ago, and that you could tell that wasn't a lot of it wasn't on any kind of mountain,
right?
But there's no question of that whatsoever with your film, and I think
that's a blessing of a limited resources. We couldn't green screen everything.
You couldn't afford to build a set and green screen everything.
Yeah, that's more expensive than just putting people out there. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Kobe.
Alex, On to the last film, which is Wilson.
Wilson. So this is based on a graphic novel.
Yeah.
About a cantankerous dude named Wilson.
I'm hoping to be that guy someday. A bit cantankerous. Just can't be asked anymore.
Future Kobe.
Yeah.
Take note, future Kobe. Played by Woody Harrelson, who is just, there's something about him. What was I writing in my notes? That he is this the film starts with him chuckling in his sleep, and so you think, oh wow, this is a nice guy, and maybe he's he loves life, and then he wakes up and he's just this cantankerous old bastard.
Yeah.
But there is something about him, and this is where I was saying to you, a through line for these films for me is people struggling to find connection, and he desperately wants to connect to people.
Absolutely.
He is the dude who will come and sit next to you on the bus when the bus is empty, and you've got your iPhone, you've got your earbuds in. He'll sit next to you and start talking to you. He's that guy.
He's that guy,
and then he'll get angry at you for something that you've just said. If that sounds like what you don't want to watch in a movie, no, but it's Woody Harrelson doing it, so of course it's great.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson's one of my favorite actors at the moment. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is kind of I've not seen him in that many comedic roles actually since Cheers. He tends to play more kind of straight down the line, more serious roles nowadays.
What's the film he's in where he plays a school teacher and it's with Haley Stanfield and
just Edge of 17.
Edge of 17.
That's fucking awesome.
Similar,
that's good.
Similar
kind
of
vibe,
wisecracking, nihilistic, but hilarious role, but with a heart, right?
Yeah.
So he can be, you scrape off the cantankerous bastard, and you've actually got someone who really loves people and just wants to find connection. He wants to find his wife, Laura Dern, who, as frizzy as her hair is, sorry, lady, you are still fabulous.
Yeah.
She is supposedly struggling, but does so in an incredible way. She's got this explosive personality. I don't think we want to spoil what happens, but they want to find connection, and he wants to find happiness in the world. But I don't know. I know that this is based on a graphic novel, I thought I love Wilson. I think he overstays his welcome. This film goes to weird places where I'm like, really? Did we need to go there?
For so long.
Could we not have? I mean, this was a film that's 94 minutes and felt it. So, yeah, I could have seen Wilson in a hilarious short film.
Sure.
Would be my critique.
Or maybe it's a series, an episodic series kind of thing for you.
Yeah. Maybe as a series. And maybe that's what I was experiencing, the chapter nature of the graphic novel.
Sure.
But I loved being in his company, but he's like that. If we come full circle to Beatrice at dinner, he overstays his welcome. Like, I want him gone. I'm like, Wilson, love you, mate. See you next time.
I like the way you brought it back to that. So, yeah, I think every film I recommend for people to see here. There's definitely things to take away. You said The Incredible Jessica James is your best, is your favorite.
What's your favorite?
I'd love to say The Big Sick, but I think there's too much time in there. But I really love what was going on in there. But I think you're probably right in Jessica James for me as well. And
there you go.
If we went for the documentary, as much as I'd love to say Chasing Coral because that's utterly devastating, but Icarus just had me hooked, and I was just like,
Icarus had you giving a one-word review of fuck. So I think, okay, agreed. That has to be your favorite. No, there are so many great films here. It is, to me, as I said, the through line is about connection. Like, people from documentary through to the features, like, what is it to find connection in this world? And I think, given what's happening in the world right now, where people are fracturing and the political climate, I think that's a really nice message to come away with.
Absolutely.
It's like, what does it mean to connect? It was great to connect with you, Kobe.
Cheers. Thank you very much. It's been fun the past couple of days hanging out and watching the films and chatting about them afterwards.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And eating all the croissants. I feel a bit bloated now, guys.
We had many.
Thank you very much, Alice. And how can we find you on the Twitter?
Yes, find me at Alice Tynan.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that bumper episode there. Thanks very much to Alice Tynan for talking us through all the films that we saw. Thank you very much to all of the filmmakers that took their time to sit down with me for the few minutes that they had to talk about the films that they made and why they made them and the passion behind them. Also, big thanks to everyone at Picture House Central, because that place is awesome and everyone should go there. It's probably the best cinema in the UK. Of course, thanks very much to all the guys at the Sundance Film Festivals in the London side and the bigger brother, bigger sister side in Park City, Utah. And we love the things you do and we love the films that you're producing. Mega thanks, of course, to everyone for listening. Please do come and find us on Twitter. We are Flixwatcher Pod. Find us online, flixwatcher.tv, and please do subscribe to us on iTunes. Share with your friends. Share this all with everyone you know. Of course, ultra thanks to Tony, Jay, and Toby, and everyone else at GL Productions for fantastic editing skills that they've gone to put these podcasts together, and to Mighty People for the tunes that you can hear now and intermittently and spliced between the show today. Thank you for your time, guys, and speak to you soon. Bye.
Flixwatcher podcast would be nothing without GL Productions and their awesome editing skills. If you're a podcaster or if you're looking for a little bit of help with your editing or production, then we can't recommend them highly enough. As a little thank you, they'll give you 10% off your bespoke podcast production package. If you contact them, podcast@glpro.co.uk, tell them Flixwatcher podcast sent you, they'll give you 10% off.